So the thing I noticed about I'm gonna do this video about is like you really gotta learn not to cry in life. You really gotta learn not to cry. I'll be honest, like basically let the devil get to your head. That's what I'm trying to say. Like cry, let the devil get to your head. You kinda gotta like man and woman up and understand like we human. Like if we really into our purpose for God and we're like Jesus, and we really doing what's right and we doing our best, the best we can for God and the truth, you know, that's enough. That's enough to God. We gotta understand that's enough. That's enough. Yeah, let's go out here. We gotta understand that's enough. Some different whatever. Like, we gotta understand that's just actually enough to God. Whether yeah. So yeah. We gotta understand that. We gotta understand that. We are enough. We are enough. Cause like for me, like I'll be honest, man. Like I'll be feeling like, oh shit, like I'm like whatever, like or whatever type shit. But like to where like I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'll be feeling that, but that's literally the devil getting into your head, trying to make you think, okay, yeah, you just, you're not enough. You're not enough. When I'm already doing the most work out of anybody on this earth, and I'm one of the biggest legends ever. Like, but it just feel like I'm just meant to just suffer. I feel like, and sometimes I feel like that. Sometimes I feel like, oh yeah, we just, I'm like, as far as God, we feel crazy and shit. We feel crazy. We feel like God's misunderstood. Like we feel like God's like, you know, yeah, like gonna like forsake us type stuff. Like that's literally how I be feeling too. Like I feel like God is literally gonna forsake me. I feel like I'm doing nothing right. I feel like I'm doing everything wrong. And let's sit down. Let's sit down. But like, yeah, I just feel like I feel like, you know, I can do nothing right. I feel like I'm just meant to, suffer and not get any victory. And that's how I feel like, walk with God, feels like you never gonna get blessed, you never gonna get made away, you never gonna nothing's ever gonna, happen to, get you out, get you the victory, and stuff like that. So it's like, it just feels like you never gonna, prosper. That's how I feel, that's how I be feeling when you walking with God, it feels like you never gonna prosper. And it feels like, yeah, you just feel like God is just, like waiting on God is crazy at that too. Like waiting on God is crazy. Like that's how crazy waiting on God is, just feel like, it's never gonna end, feel like it's never gonna end. And nothing's gonna move, and like God building you and the real like He's building you, and having you go through all this stuff, like it feels like, and then the whole world going against you and, dragging you down and, tearing you apart or trying to tear you apart, doing their best. The devil makes you trying his best, and the devil trying his best, destroy you with the system and everything. It's a lot to go through. It's a lot to go through. And that's what I want to say. It's just a lot to go through. It's a lot to go through. And the stress of the devil attacking you, the world, and like us followers of God, like we go through this. We go through this. Us true followers of God, this is what we go through. We go through it's like you have to go through a nightmare to get to where you have to, yeah, basically, yeah, you gotta go through a nightmare to get to where, the next steps and stuff. It's like, so basically, yeah, to where you can get crowned in the end too, with everything too. So it's like, it sucks, it sucks, it sucks, it sucks. But that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as God, we gotta understand, we can't let the devil, get into our minds. We can't let the devil, destroy our minds. And, yeah, we may feel certain ways, but like, we gotta understand, we can't let this devil just punk our minds around. We can't just let this devil just dictate us and like dictate our brains and tell us we awful people. You know, when we doing when God is looking at us basically like blameless. You know, blameless. Like we're blameless. You know. We really are, man. Us followers of God, like a true follower of God, who's really doing God's will, and doing what's need to be done. Like we are blameless. Like we are seriously blameless. Like, and we get the victory. We get the victory. So there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to stress out about. It's just, you know, hey, it may feel like it sucks, but in actuality, you just gotta be, you know, you gotta soldier up and take your whips. Take your whips like a G. Take your lit like a G, and you know that's what it comes down to. You know, like we can sit here, cry, moan about it, complain, but at the same time, you know, we gotta understand. You know, yeah, is it fucked up? Yeah, it's very fucked up. What the devil's doing to us followers of God is very fucked up, and we're not in a good position. We're in a good position though. We are in a good position. You know, we in the best position ever. And it doesn't give them an excuse. Like God's gonna deal with them. God's gonna deal with all these people, all these idiots. God's gonna deal with them. God, the rebel like Jesus, God, the whole kingdom of heaven. Hey, they got us. They got us. You know, they got us, and that's what that's the love. You know, we get. You know, we get promised too from that. You know, from out of the deal. You know, and you know. And then that's just the way it is. The way it is, and that's just how it get. That's all I really wanted to say. Yeah. So like, we are gonna prosper. We are gonna get the victory. The devil ain't winning. We gotta soldier up and understand. You know, we not evil. We not evil because we actually blameless. We actually blameless. You know, I'm blameless. Like, and this is what the devil been. You know, this is what God's been showing me and having me go through to reach people out there, and or to to basically mold me and everything too, basically. And that's what God does, so you know that's the best thing I can do with that, say about that. So that means much love, peace.